All you need are 5 baskets. I was listening to a podcast and I thought, how can we apply this to languages? This Steven Bartlett's 5 bucket framework, in my opinion, is genius. Each one of these represents something different that is going to make us better. The first basket represents knowledge. This is the foundation, so everything we know, the vocabulary, the grammar rules we know about, the prepositions, the articles, the numbers, the letters. This is a basket we all think about. Many of us are lucky enough to start off their lives by dealing with education. So we go to school, some of us go to college or to university, and in the meantime, we also absorb knowledge thanks to social media, thanks to articles, podcasts, family members who tell us stories, friends who share their experiences. Knowledge is never ending. And this basket is fundamental, of course, but I'd like to move on to basket number 2, which many of us actually ignore. The basket of what you can do. So not what you know, but what you can do. Your skills. Your abilities. I recognize these words in a text, but am I able to use them actively? This is something that sets a lot of students apart. Many people stop at the first basket, so we want to learn as much as possible. I want to study how to use the present perfect, the past perfect, les conjugations, I falsi amici, and so on and so forth. But fewer people focus on how to interpret and transform that knowledge we have in us into something active. So how to get it out of us, how to create output. This is a big reason why a lot of people can understand but cannot use a language. We need to fill up this basket right to the brim. And honestly, it's so much easier to focus on knowledge rather than action. Action is painful. The third basket is who we know, so our network. Do I have somebody to speak to? How am I using the language? Am I writing comments on YouTube to native speakers or people who write in that language? Am I speaking to somebody who knows that language? Am I followed by a tutor? Am I followed by a teacher? Am I joining some conversation groups? The situations we find ourselves in help us shape our knowledge and our abilities in a language. When it comes to Italian, I am fluent and I have been in a billion situations. And in these situations, I have developed my linguistic skills. When it comes to Polish, my opportunities to speak Polish were not the exact same of the Italian language. When I was dealing with my university papers, everything was in Polish. And that was my very first time dealing with the secretary, dealing with people who were Polish speakers, and it was an official situation, a formal context. I panicked. I was interacting with different people and my approach had to change. Basket number 4 is your resources. What are your current resources? Linguistically speaking, we can think of books, course books, novels to read, comics to read. We can think of podcasts to listen to, YouTube videos to watch. We can think of courses online, courses offline. Can I find myself in social contexts, social situations where the language I'm studying is used? Can I travel to a country? Obviously, this changes, for example, for languages which are rare or languages which are disappearing, languages that are endangered, or, for example, for people who do not have access to these resources. So I always take a moment to consider, first of all, how lucky am I to having the possibility to visit Brussels, to speaking to native speakers by just clicking on a screen, thanks to my internet connection. Try to make this basket as fruitful as possible, and also the quality of the resources. Take care of the quality of what you're putting in this basket. Basket number 5 is reputation, what people think of you. I spent some time thinking about this basket for languages, and to be fair, I think it's more about connection. Having the opportunity to know stuff, being able to use the stuff that you know about, having also the opportunity to speak to people, and then also having resources to keep improving, this makes you a beast. This makes you reliable, trustworthy, and in your language journey, you know you can trust also yourself. You become more confident. You are not so afraid of mistakes because you learn, thanks to the previous 4, that mistakes are part of it. Mistakes are part of the journey. You learn that your accent is not going to hinder your opportunity to go and visit Spain and talk to the locals. You know that people will love hearing somebody trying and communicate in their native language. This is, in my opinion, the basket where everything falls into place, and your reputation, your self-confidence, how others perceive you and how you perceive yourself, you truly build up your confidence. This basket really depends on the previous 4, and there's also a lot of self-work to do. We need to remind ourselves that others' perception is not always true also. So if somebody hears a bad accent or you make some slips, you make some mistakes, that's not where your reputation lies. Maybe one day you didn't sleep well, so you just cannot think of the vocabulary you need. Things don't always work the best way. Let me know what you think about these 5 baskets, and which one do you think is the one you're working on the most and the one you're focusing on the least? I'm very curious. Write it down in the comments. I thank you so much for watching this, and I'll see you next time.